What is good, my nerdy people? How is it going? Beautiful Monday evening. What is popping off for all of you all who came into the dojo a bit early? Let's go ahead and step in. I am your Normie Sensei, Master Crunch here with Normies and Nerds. And look, yo, tonight, I hope y'all ready. I hope y'all ready, because tonight we got in a guest sensei who was bringing in that Star Wars knowledge. You know, your boy Master Crunch is on the grind to be a nerd in Star Wars. So we got a sensei that's coming into the building, a guest sensei, I would say, who is able to drop that knowledge. So before I bring him up, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. We are on the grind at 250 subs. But without further ado, I want to bring up our guest for the evening. I guess Sensei, and yeah, I'm gonna cut the music off because you guys need to make sure you hear my introduction for our guest Sensei. This man here, he is one half of a legendary duo. I'm not talking Michael, Scotty, you know what I mean? I'm not talking Frankie, Beverly. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not talking Chris, Cross. I'm not talking Salt, Pepper.
He did?
I'm not talking them. I'm talking. He's one half of a more dynamic duo that's known as the Mayne Gang. Rolling over there, the Mayne Authority, creators of the purple drink. They got the sauce, because if you don't got the sauce, you lost. We got my man's nobody other but Mr. Al Shuler coming into the dojo tonight. What's popping, Al? What is going on, my brother?
Hey, what it do, neighborhood? I'm gonna have to make one small correction, though, man. I'm
What
gonna have to
up? What
make
up?
one small correction.
What up? What up?
If if your boy is gonna be in here on the Star Wars, I gotta be the homie. Roll me one, my homie tonight.
I got you, bro.
I gotta
got
be.
you,
I
bro.
gotta be roll me one, my homie.
I got you. I got you. I
What
got
it do, everybody? Though. Other than that, man, what's good? I'm in here, bro. Like
you.
I'm hype as hell right now. I'm in the dojo, man. Let's go.
Straight
Like,
up
what's
kicking it
up,
with the
man?
return
What's
normies and
up?
nerds, man. What is popping? Look, let's say what's up to our good folks. We got B Grissom, we got Felicity, Geeky Gambit, Obi-Wan the homie, Neo, Ratcatcher, my man's Jared, Ratcatcher too. Look, he got the C simping for Ratcatcher over there. Look, we got all the good folks in here tonight. Man, so look, this is my thing. I bring up, and I believe that's Lavis, if it is, or it might be yourself, Mr. Roll Me One. I'm not sure, and they with the Mayne Authority. But now,
Oh yeah, that's the homie. That's the homie.
so look, let's go ahead and roll right into this, man, because we got a lot of good shit to talk about. First, I mean, I do want to start off. Look, the folks in here in the dojo hadn't got a chance yet to hear my takes on the Bad Batch finale. So I mean, I kind of want to
Hmm.
address that there. I know we're a couple of days off, but man, to me, man, like Bad Batch, this finale was a letdown to me, bro. Like I'm on
Hmm.
that bandwagon where I wasn't feeling the finale, but it has no indication on how I feel about the show. I felt like the show was good, especially for us not having Jedi's in it, bro. Like especially like
Yeah.
Force users, like to just have this show about the Bad Batch. Like it's kind of what they did a little bit with the Mandalorian, like unknown character, but bring it. I know you got a little bit of Bad Batch in the Clone Wars, but to bring in the Bad Batch and do what they did this season by weaving in those those cameos in there like that, by getting the Hera in there, like those were some of the best parts. So all in all, getting that in was good. But then when we get to the finale, episode 15, bro, was my favorite episode of the season next to episode one. And then we get to this
Word.
finale, bro, and it just honestly, I don't let me know in the chat. I put in a poll, but how did you guys feel about the finale? I wasn't really there for it. But Al, how did you like come down with the finale? How did it hit you, bro?
Yeah, man. I was I was a little let down also, man. If we keeping it a buck, I thought when you come off of episode 15, when you raise the stakes to the point where we literally are watching the destruction of Camino, spoiler alert, and it's just like, man, like this is where we going. And then you get to episode 16, and it's like it puts a nice little bow on the season, but at the same time, like to me, that's just not like I needed something to get me hype for the next season of Bad Batch. And I just felt like
Yeah.
that last episode didn't really do it for me like that, man. It just didn't.
Yeah, man. And it was like, And let me know if the audio is back up. Let me know if we're back good on my end over here. But yeah, it's like to me, it was that, like you said, the lacklusterness of this episode, like to spend a whole
Yeah.
episode getting off of community, like no real action, like they ain't even really fought crosshairs like that.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, bruh, this could have been the first episode of the next season, or this could have been
Hmm.
like the season. This could have been the episode before the season finale. You know what I mean? Like that type of
Right.
stuff to have that lead up to what I think will be a huge second season. I just needed a bit more, bro. I just needed a bit
Yeah.
more. I mean, and like I said, my favorite part was the cameos of the show, and we didn't get any
Hmm.
cameos this year, like this episode.
Yeah, man. Like it wasn't, I was definitely a fan of the cameos and whatnot, but for me, it's and I talked about this on the Mayne Authority with the homie. I think for me, the problem is that I'm starting to get Skywalker saga fatigue. And it's dope that we're getting so much context and that they're making efforts to try to connect the sequel trilogy in ways that the writers of the sequel trilogy couldn't even figure out. Go figure with that one. But for me, it's like, okay, how much are we going to be able to squeeze out of the Skywalker saga? You know what I'm saying? Like we keep revisiting the same, let's say 40, 50, 60-year time span and fleshing that out, but it's not really getting us anything, other than what we already know. And so like thinking about it from the perspective of the Bad Batch, by the time you get to the end of this season, the only thing that we really find out that is of true significance at this point, again, and I stress at this point, is what exactly happened with Camino,
Mm,
because we didn't really know
facts.
what went down with Camino.
That's facts.
We just knew that like it was there, but it wasn't. It was out of the picture by the time we got to the OG trilogy. But now we realize what exactly happened with that, which is cool to know what happened. But all you got to do is really watch the OG trilogy and the sequel trilogy to know Camino really didn't have anything to do with Star Wars after the prequels because you don't hear it mentioned anymore. So for me, it's like you really didn't give me it's kind of the same way I felt about WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier to a degree. It's like, yeah, in a vacuum, it's a dope little show, but like in the grand scheme of things, what did you really tell me that I didn't already know? You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm starting to feel like with the Skywalker saga, man. I'm still, it's still Star Wars all day on mine. Like, don't get it twisted. But I'm a person with high standards, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to Star Wars, specifically when you come off the heels of something like Mando, and you get a finale where Luke mother flipping Skywalker show up and like have everybody's jaw on the floor.
Facts. Like
And
you gotta
no,
follow
bad,
that
bad,
up right.
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I get that this is animated. I get that it's for the kids. I get all of that. And I even with that being the case, I think they being Disney Lucasfilm needs to be more cognizant of the fact that like you are still in a place where as dope as Mando season 2 was, as dope as that finale was, you are still trying to get back some good graces from the people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we still got the taste of the sequel trilogy on the back of that tongue,
When it
man. Like
there,
we
yeah.
still know it was there. So it's like you got to be still in like full on recovery mode. You know what I'm saying? Saying like, look, we gotta continue to give people stuff that's gonna make them come out and go, damn, we gotta watch this next one. I gotta be up for that.
So
But I
it's
just
like,
don't. I just didn't really feel that with Bad Batch, man.
so you tell me right now, Star Wars is like they done pissed off the wife. They done pissed off the wife, the Star Wars fans, but you know they done pissed her all,
Mm.
made her mad, thinking that she forgave her, thinking she forgave you and everything. But nah, she might forgave you, but she ain't forget. So you know you can't come through
Exactly.
you can't come through making them jokes. You can't go through doing the same type of things you was from the get go.
Nah.
Because she might forget you. She might say, all right, Mando might have brought it in. You know, you might have took her somewhere from Mando 1. Mando season 2, you might have
Yep.
took on a cruise or something, you know.
No
But then
doubt.
you come back to the crib and she like, nah, I still ain't forget though. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's
That
okay.
part.
That's it where it's at right
That
there.
part.
So let me ask you,
That's exactly where it's at, man.
what could have helped you? Like what could have helped this series then? Because to me, I get this
I
series like
mhm.
a 7, bro. Like it's like a 7 to
Yeah.
me.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
and I know that's hard to rate, but I mean, if you're looking like Clone Wars being like a 9, um, I'm a
Mm-hmm.
Rebels fan. Like
I
Rebels is
got
a
you.
10 for
Okay.
me.
Yep.
So it's like looking at those, it's still like a 7 for me, just honestly because of the finale. But like looking at it like
Mm-hmm.
that, it's like certain things I thought they could have done better. And for me, the gripe was the finale. It's not gonna. It could have got an
Yeah.
8, which is a great score to me if it had the finale.
Mm-hmm.
But for you, what could have happened better with the show? I mean, it could be anything from like when the episodes that come out, or
Mm-hmm.
just what could have made this experience better for Bad Batch for you.
Yeah. I think for me, man, um, the one thing that they could have done, if you're gonna lean into the whole cloning thing and taking old girl to the Empire and letting and having her work with them and trying to connect that dot, tie that loop together from Mando,
Mm-hmm.
then drop like a Grogu something. You know what I'm saying? We know that he got, he was in the Jedi Academy around that time once when Order 66 hit. So show us in Bad Batch what happened with him. You know what I'm saying? And maybe they'll do that in season 2. But if you really wanted season 1 to pop off like that, then that should have been kind of like the carrot they dangled at the end of the season, was that this was all going to tie into what the Empire was doing with Grogu. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that would have been okay. Now, again, from a timeline standpoint, maybe you say, well, we got to give Grogu a little bit of time to age up because, he was, we talking about what, 30, almost 30 years, 20 something, 30 years by the time we see him actually in Mando,
Mm-hmm.
from where we were with Bad Batch. So I can see if they say, well, maybe he was too young, even by his standards. I get that. But it's got to be something, man, where it's like, you have to leave people wanting to see more. And I don't feel like Bad Batch left me wanting to see more. Now, that doesn't mean I won't watch it when season 2 drops, but there's nothing about season 1 that's making me go, okay, I got to see this. Now, in the defense of Bad Batch, though, I will say that Rebels was the same way, because the first season of Rebels, like, a lot of people didn't like it. I was not one of those people. I thought the first season of Rebels was dope, but I do feel like once we got to the end of that season, it really wasn't anything all of it like at that point that had me hooked.
Right.
That didn't come for me until we got like midway through season 2.
Right.
Then it was like, oh
Like
shit,
the
we own
stakes is
we
up.
own
It hit.
something
It
now.
hit then, bro. The same for me.
Yeah, man. Because then we get to the end and we on Malachor. We got Ahsoka versus Vader. So it got real at that
Yeah.
point. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what Bad Batch. Put it this way: if Bad Batch to hook me like that, I needed one of those kind of moments. It didn't have to be Vader showing up. It doesn't have to be Grogu showing up or me seeing Obi-Wan. But I needed some kind of a moment where I'm like, oh, so this what we doing?
And
Okay. But I just felt like we didn't get that. And
I
if
don't. I
if we
feel like
had, go
I
ahead,
don't.
bro.
I don't know. I just feel like it didn't pay off. Like I feel like they set up certain things, but we ain't got the
Mm-hmm.
payoff at all. Like one thing I'm really looking forward to next season, and I'm praying to God we get it, is Omega
Mm-hmm.
interacting with Hera some more. Like that to me was my
Yeah.
favorite
Okay.
Omega scene. Like Omega grew up a bit, like when she was talking about ancient, like the people, like
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the conversation. They were like, well, we usually only do that for people in trouble or something like that. It's like, are people always in trouble when you go to? It's like, yeah, you are, aren't you? Or something. It's like
Yeah.
that type of like, it's that type
Mm-hmm.
of banter. Like I'm looking forward to that. So like, kind of looking
Right.
forward to that, and then what they're doing with Rex. Like I was hoping to see like them going to go trying to save all the clone troopers that they're taking off world. I was hoping that they were going
Yeah,
to
I feel
go
you.
do something like that, and that be the thing that
Mm-hmm.
paid off this season. But yeah, it feels
Right.
like nothing paid off this season. But one Easter egg does seem like they're putting in there, and we can kind of use this to segue into some live action talk. But one thing that kind of
Mm-hmm.
I think they put an Easter egg in there was for the for Nala to be work like I think this is her way to get in and start working with that cloning program that Grogu was a part of.
Oh yeah.
So like I feel like the threads were there for them to maybe even have that pod of
Mm-hmm.
Grogu's in, to maybe even like have that in the background and have it right there as it's going in, as
Right.
we're going into the cloning facility. But whatever. I mean, but it's at the same time they should have hit it over the head to be like even had Dr. Pershing well he might be too young
Something.
or
Right.
something, but like
Now.
somebody that we recognize from maybe Mando when it comes to that
Right.
cloning facility that we could tie it into.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to tie into the trilogy. You can just tie into Mando.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the one thing that they did was, I know when Nalase showed up on whatever, I don't know exactly what planet that was, but when she was greeted by the scientist had that same patch that Dr. Pershing had
Mm-hmm.
in Mando on his sleeve. So
Mm-hmm.
that automatically kind of connects you and goes, oh, so this is the same cloning department that was, fooling around with Grogu a few years later with Mando. Okay. But to your point though, dog, like that's why I felt like it was a little bit lackluster for me, is because there should have been some kind of a revelation there that we, that they spell it out, especially with
Right.
it being a kids show. I feel like, yeah, we're past the point where you got to kind of spell things out to kids, but in this kind of genre, like that should be real straightforward. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It should
Right.
be, if that's the angle you're trying to go to, then you got to spell that out so that people know exactly what that tie-in means. Because otherwise, it's just kind of floated out there, and it's another one of those just kind of connect the dots with Star Wars type situations. And
Yep.
that's the thing that I like. I'm starting to kind of get a little down on with Star Wars, is just how many dots are we gonna connect back to the Skywalker saga? You know what I'm saying? Like, where are we going beyond that? Because that's where Star Wars for me is really, that's the part of Star Wars I'm most curious about now, is what happens post Rise of Skywalker. You know what I'm saying? Like we done
Okay.
with that. Whether you liked it or not, loved it, hated it, whatever, that's cool. But we still got to move on beyond that, because going back and revisiting the Skywalker saga, like eventually you're gonna run out of stories to tell, or it's just gonna get stale to the point where ain't nobody gonna want to see that no more. So there's ways, at least in my opinion, that you can do both. You can still kind of honor the Skywalker saga, but tie that into the future. But I just don't see those threads right now. Now, could we see that in season two? Possibly. But just judging season one based off what we got, man, I'm with you 100%, man. It just it didn't fulfill me in the ways that I was hoping it would.
So look, now that you said that, that got my question going to go into what we could be looking for Star Wars coming up, because the stories we got coming up are still set in this time period in between
Mm-hmm.
the Skywalker saga. I mean, you got the Kenobi series, you got Ahsoka, which all, by the way, like I'm hella hyped for. I'm hella ready to see. Um, but I mean, what you got? Like, where's your anticipation at? As much as these programs are coming out, like the accolades and stuff, accolades.
Mm-hmm.
What are you looking forward to? Like, where's your anticipation at right now for stuff?
Man, like, well, in the immediate future, I want to see what they do with this Obi-Wan show,
Okay.
because I think the Obi-Wan show could be an opportunity for us to really explore some shit that we just never even thought about, from the angle of Obi-Wan. Because I think everybody automatically assumes that it's gonna be, Obi-Wan on Tatooine and kind of his journey as he's watching over Luke. Something might pull him off world. He
Mm-hmm.
might have, there's rumors about him having another showdown with Vader. I think that that's going to be one of those from a certain point of view kind of situations. But I'm really curious to see if there's anything that comes out of that we haven't necessarily dove into,
Right.
like some of the Thrawn stuff, or even more specifically, maybe him kind of thwarting what was going on with Maul in the underworld, and that crime syndicate. Like, does he get caught up in that, and are there any implications with that? So that's one thing, in terms of looking forward to. The other thing I'm looking forward to, man, is like, what are they gonna do with this acolytes? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is that gonna be? What is Visions? What is the point of Visions? You know what I'm saying? What are we
Yeah.
gonna do with this content, man? Because there's so much juice there. You know what I'm saying? There's so much potential for them to really like turn up, that like I'm just sitting here waiting to see what they gonna do with it. Because acolytes, man, I tell you, like, straight up, I haven't read too much about acolytes, but if you want to get me in on that, they've already made Darth Bane canon. If you
Mm-hmm.
want to make acolytes go hard, make acolytes the story of Bane's apprentice Darth Zana and her apprentice Darth Cadmus, after she basically defeated Bane. And that's two female Sith warriors, basically, now that we get to follow, that we don't know nothing about.
I want that dark side.
And You know what I'm saying? Like, bring me the dark side, bro. Like, we've been on the light side we've been so light side heavy. Let me get some dark side, bro. Like, let me see like really what it means and how the Sith were operating, particularly before the Skywalker saga, and how they were laying the groundwork for what Palpatine eventually was able to do. Because you got to know that it wasn't necessarily like all of them was just biding their time. There had to be some attempts to, thwart the Jedi before Order 66. Like that wasn't necessarily just something that they all had a plan and they were all working towards. That couldn't have been the case, man. So it's like, show me that. Like, give me some insight into the dark side that will take me beyond the Skywalker saga, in the sense that maybe whatever those teachings were, or whatever aspect of the dark side that was, maybe got laid aside or got put to rest temporarily. And
Hmm.
then we can fast forward to the future and see somebody, pick up on that same tip and like basically try to reestablish that, but in a way that maybe isn't necessarily tied to the Sith or the Jedi. Like, that's what I really want to see with Star Wars at this point. Take the lid off of the Force. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, Ryan Johnson tried to do that with The Last Jedi, but it was like a car crash. Like, my dude just couldn't get right. So if you want to really, but the concept was dope though. The idea of removing the restraints of the Force having to be tied to either the Jedi or the Sith. I
Hmm.
want to see a Force wielder that doesn't necessarily subscribe to either one of those, but is powerful as shit in the Force.
You know, you
Like,
know,
show me
you know
show
who
me
you
a
talking
bad
about.
guy like that.
Well, I mean, I don't know if he's gonna be bad, but I mean, even my man's Ezra, I feel like he was heading down that path.
Bruh,
I feel like my
exactly.
man's Ezra is. That's
Exactly.
what's got me so hyped to get Ezra back in under any means like
Mm-hmm.
by any means necessary. I want to see Ezra back in this show. So like, if we get in the Ahsoka series to see Ezra like
Mm-hmm.
working with Thrawn, because I think Thrawn is a perfect like villain.
Yeah.
I think Thrawn can be the villain while Ezra is like the muscle, who is somebody that you still feel for, can flip at any time. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Right.
I'm looking forward to the Ahsoka series because I think I think everybody's wanting trying to really figure out who the villain in Ahsoka could be.
Yeah.
And my thing, Barris Offee would be a fire villain because I mean, if they wanted to make up connections between her and Vader, with her maybe being
Mm-hmm.
an Inquisitor, or her working with the dark side and working with
Yeah.
Vader to be like kind of the dark side pattern, like apprentice or what have you, to
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
Vader, and like you just got that Ahsoka, like both of them was a
Yeah.
mentor, you know what I mean, like that type of thing. But
Mm-hmm.
even more so, I mean, I'm just here to see Ezra with Thrawn, them actually working in tandem, being on the same side. Like they've had some
Yeah.
time out there in space, and them working side by side, him seeing what vision that he really has, um,
Mm-hmm.
for that to match up with Ahsoka fighting off against Ezra, and then going back,
Oh man.
and then going back like in the episode, because I do think we're gonna get a series with Ezra and Thrawn. If we go back and get
Mm-hmm.
that history of him learning ways of the dark side, but also finding ways
Gotcha.
to balance the light and doing that, like he's not necessarily completely dark side. When I say dark side, I just mean evil. You know what I mean? Like he's not
Right.
evil,
Yeah.
but
Exactly.
he can
Yeah.
use both powers, and I think that's it. Like to me, that's what I'm looking forward to. But besides
Yeah.
that, the Mando 3, of course. Like I'm sorry, Mando
Mm-hmm.
got it for me, bro.
Oh yeah.
But the only thing that's stopping me from saying Mando 3 right now is anything dealing with Ezra, because I think Ezra could be that one to fit the mold. And honestly, if they
Yeah.
focus on the outer galaxies, like if they focus on galaxies that's not like in like the main I don't know what they call them, the inner galaxies or what have you, or that like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the inner systems or what have you. If they focus on
Yeah. The known
those,
galaxy. Uh-huh.
the known gal, yeah, if they focus on those like for the sequel trilogy, but then like for what we're talking about with Thrawn and Ezra, all this stuff can like kind of take place in the outer rims or in places that are really
Yes.
untouched by the First Order. That could be how you stay in that timeline and be able to break apart and show us what the hell else is going on in this big ass
So
galaxy.
yeah, I had an idea about that, man, and this is what I would love to see them do. We know what happens with Ezra and Thrawn at the end of Rebels, right? We see them get taken off into the unknown regions, or at least somewhere in the galaxy we don't know where. What I would love for them to do is basically give us a show. I don't care what show it is, where we see a flashback or we see a series of events where we're watching Thrawn and Ezra out in the unknown regions of
together.
wherever they are, trying to figure out where they're at. But
Yeah.
what I want to happen is for them to come against some kind of a threat, whether it's the Yusak Vong, whether it's something brand new, something crazy, and for them to basically be like, we got to get back to the known galaxy and let everybody know this shit coming, because this is bigger than just the Sith and the Jedi. This is something that might threaten our very existence, period. And then you see Ezra pop back up, like, with the whole, Sabine and Ahsoka looking for him, and say they find him and find out he's working with Thrawn, and he's got to explain to them, nah, y'all ain't seen what I seen. Y'all don't, like, you looking at this whole situation, but you just barely looking at the tip of the iceberg. Like, this Jedi Sith stuff, the Force is much bigger than that, and it's way more than that. Like, you got to, like, basically unlearn what you have learned, in the words of Yoda. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's bigger than the dark and the light. Like, there is like a shade of gray to this, and what's coming is going to require us to put all the BS aside, because we got to deal with that. And to see that dynamic and to see Ezra in that light, where he is, like, to your point, my man ain't afraid to necessarily dip into some of that dark side power and kind of play both ends like that, because he realizes what's at stake. So Ezra could kind of be, in some ways, the blueprint for what we got teased with Luke in Return of the Jedi, and how Luke kind of played in that movie a little bit into the dark side in certain aspects in the way they presented him. We all kind of knew the way he was going to end up, but this would be the opportunity with somebody like an Ezra for them to really go into that and be like, okay, so what would it look like if we had, an anti-hero with Force abilities? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
Yeah. That's what
What you
like
think, man?
that's what got me hyped, bro. Like how you laying it down, laying it out like that. The use of all bring them folks in there. Like I'm not sweaty enough to theorize that deep and to bring them folks in there, but like I've heard, talking with Coop and stuff. Like I've heard about the vault.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, bro.
Yeah,
That's the
man.
wave,
Like,
and
that's what we need.
that's the wave. That's the wave, and
That's it.
yeah, like and that just to me even would make Ezra's story, because I mean, come on, they can tee Ezra up, bro. Like they can amp my
Oh
man's up
man.
to show like the powerful ones ain't just the Skywalkers. Like you can have
Right.
like they like you said, rip the lid off the Force, like dipping into both
Mm-hmm.
sides, being at peace with both sides. That's to me that should naturally give you like
And the thing is, look
strength.
at all the people that Ezra's touched, bruh. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's had encounters with Maul. My man dealt with, on certain levels, Obi-Wan. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? He actually was in a quick little scuffle, dust up with Vader. You know what I'm saying? Like, my dude, he dealt with Thrawn and was the person that was able to finally outsmart Thrawn, bruh. Like, this dude done been through some shit. Like, he
Facts.
deserves to come back, and for us to see that, because you know what Ezra coming back would be, and what they could do with Ezra that they didn't do, or what character that parallels, in my opinion, Luke. Now, he ain't on Luke's level power wise, but in the sense of, we saw Luke at the end of Return of the Jedi kind of at his peak form. And then the next thing you know, you see dude in The Last Jedi, looking old and dusty. Like, my dude was done. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we missed that entire period of time where we could have seen Luke in his prime wrecking shit. You could do that same thing with Ezra right now. You could bring Ezra back and make Ezra that dude, man. And I could see a trilogy of movies focused around Ezra and possibly even Thrawn, kind of building up this new threat that we'll have to deal with post Skywalker saga. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's lit to me,
that's what I want to see, man.
and that's lit to me. Like that character Ezra, just that dude. Now, you mentioned it. You mentioned it. You mentioned a little bit, and I don't want to tie on to it a little too long because I know it gets your blood boiling.
Mm.
The Last Jedi. Look, I just want to ask, for me, and I've heard you say, you walked out of Last Jedi, and it was
Yeah.
you felt like it was a great movie when you walked out of the movie theaters. And
Yeah,
like
initially I did.
as a
Straight up.
Star Wars like swarming, dude, Last Jedi to me like, and I still feel this way now, even though I like kind of see the gripes more, and I kind of like on the bandwagon and not liking the Last Jedi more.
Mm-hmm.
But that final scene was just fire, so fire to me. Like for a while, like I thought it was just like one of the best things I ever seen on a screen. Period. Was that final
Okay,
scene
okay.
with that like with that force projection and how that thing worked out? Like I was like, damn, that to me, I was like, dude, that's the strong dude, Luke. Like that's like to me that was his strength. Like he was able to do that and like get them
Yeah.
out. To me, like it didn't really had that impact when I was first watching it. What was going on? Like that he was like
Right.
this was the first time of seeing him after all those years. Like now going back and watching it, like all the series, like watching all the movies, getting hip to all
Mm-hmm.
the lore and stuff. And then when we finally
Yeah.
saw my man's Luke and Mando, like it made sense.
Makes you want, yeah, you
It
like,
made
why the hell didn't we get this in
it
The
makes
Last
sense.
Jedi?
It made sense.
Yeah,
Like why the
man.
hell could this dude not even been fighting these people and doing that? You know what I mean? Like face to face,
Right.
like he could have been on that planet. I would expect him to be able to destroy everybody on that planet. Shit, make that man Goku. For all I care. Like you
That's
know
what I'm
what I mean?
saying.
Like
That's
go
that
ham.
that part right there,
Like
bruh. Talk your shit, man. Like that. And this is the thing, right? Because people, and I want to, like, I've said this before, but I want to make sure I'm clear with this with The Last Jedi, right? I know a lot of people had issues with Luke and his portrayal in The Last Jedi.
mhm.
My issues with The Last Jedi had nothing to do with the way Luke was portrayed. I was actually down with them taking that twist on Luke. The problem I had was we got zero context on how my guy got there other than that
Facts.
story with him and Kylo.
Facts.
You gotta, if you're gonna do that with Luke, you gotta pay that off by giving people a good chunk of content to explain how we got there with Luke. Because the last time we saw Luke, he was basically the man in the galaxy. Like he was that dude. He had just taken down his second Death Star and defeated the Emperor. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude, it was a reason. It was a reason Moff Gideon was about to shit his pants when he realized Luke was showing up. Because he knows like this dude is the stuff of legend at that point. Like he's like you said, Goku. My dude is like that guy. And so for him to not get his just due, for us not to see that, that's what made for me The Last Jedi not hit the way that it could have, was because we didn't get to see Luke's descent. We were told about it.
Right.
And I'm the type of person like that would have been perfect because Luke would have essentially been the polar opposite of his father, if you think about it. And it would have been like, George Lucas is always saying it would have rhymed because we watched, what we watched with Anakin was Anakin kind of start out, a Padawan on the light side and kind of descend into darkness, only to kind of be redeemed in the end and come back. Whereas Luke, same thing, but Luke resisted the dark side temptation and defeated, and faced his father. He defeated that, and we thought he was done. Like we thought he had conquered it. Imagine us then going into this situation where we realize, nah, that wasn't the real test for Luke. His real test was with the Jedi Academy and him having to train his nephew and how he struggled with that. That is going to be Luke's downfall. And that will be where Luke decides, I got to take myself off the board not because I'm afraid or not because I'm too powerful or because people believe in a legend that ain't real, because I know that this is the only way, in my opinion, that I can stop the future that's about to happen. Like he's looking at it and going, I can't allow my nephew to go down this path. I got to take myself out the picture, only to realize later on that's exactly what led to it. You know what I'm saying? That would have made Last Jedi make a whole lot more sense because then you get to see Luke's descent and what caused him to go into hiding. And you understand it at that point.
That makes sense.
Now, there still might be some people that might not have been down with it, but it would have made more sense because you would have had that payoff and you would have realized, okay, this is what made Luke finally lose it. Like, show us Luke, if it's canon that Luke met Snoke at some point earlier in his life, then show me that conversation. Show me what Luke and Snoke was talking about. That they was both on chill, just having this conversation back in the day. What kind of knowledge was Snoke dropping, or what kind of seeds was he planting?
I'm about to
What
say,
kind of
let him plant the
manipulation was
seed.
he doing?
Let it be Snoke.
You know
Like,
what I'm
let him plant
saying?
the seed for that. Yeah.
Right. The whole thing, man, like dried that whole situation. Luke was out collecting artifacts and whatnot and doing all of this. Find me something that said that some kind of a prophecy or something that said that, if Luke was supposed to be the chosen one, or whoever was supposed to be the chosen one, find me a prophecy that says the chosen one is going to basically beget the next uprising of the dark side.
Right.
To where it's like basically what you find out is that the force and this battle between light and dark is nothing but an eternal struggle that continues to ebb and flow. That would have been perfect, because then Luke's like, oh, hell no. So you wait a minute. You trying to tell me that this whole prophecy for the chosen one is all set up to basically facilitate the rise of the dark side again? I ain't finna do that shit. No, I'm finna go over here to Octo and chill. Then it would have made sense. You know what I'm saying? Then we could have been like, okay, now I understand why Luke is trying to like not be involved. But to just put him out there like, cause he just salty and he like, nah, I'm pissed. I'm gonna just go over here because my nephew, I couldn't get the kids to learn. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I almost
Yeah.
sliced my like it just didn't hit the same way, man. And then it was just like certain choices, man. Like it didn't work the way that they were trying to make it work. But I don't feel like that meant they had to totally scrap that idea, man, or that they have to go away from that.
Mhm.
I just think that it wasn't executed the right way. And, hopefully with all of this retconning that they're doing, it will start to make more sense as we move forward. But yeah, man, that's where I'm at with the Last Jedi. It wasn't the movie, it was some of the choices in terms of execution that got me, bro.
And they could very well go back and they could retroactively make Last Jedi a good movie. I feel like
Oh yeah.
they could
Well,
very
see,
much
that's what I think they're
retroactively
doing.
do it. Yeah, they could very much do that.
I think that's exactly what they're doing with Bad Batch. Is like by introducing, Omega and the idea of this cloning situation. Like this is clearly trying to set up a through line to Palpatine being able to clone himself, and
Mhm.
them basically trying to re-explain all of that, which is cool. Like I have no problem with retconning, because Star Wars is built off retcon, and I don't care what anybody says. If you just go back and look at it, Star Wars been retconning since day one. Because if you look at the OG trilogy, Luke and Leia were supposed to be like love interests, and then they made them brother and sister. Then they turned around and they did the prequel trilogy after doing the OG trilogy, which is basically retroactively connecting those movies to the original trilogy that came before. And there were some things that got changed in the prequel trilogy in order to make it fit. So it's not that retconning is a bad thing necessarily. Where retcon gets, I think, bad, or where it starts to get a bad rap, is when you're doing it to cover up just like stupid mistakes. And that's what happened with the sequel trilogy. Is it's like they started retconning shit just because they realized, oh, that was dumb. Oh, we probably, and it's like you should have known that in the first place. Like you should have known that wasn't nobody gonna be down with this chick just coming out of nowhere and having all of this power that she could rival the heir of the Skywalker bloodline, like without us having any context on who she was. Nah, that ain't gonna hit the way you
They
think it
definitely
is.
could have
People gonna
They definitely could have benefited from that
right.
context.
Exactly. Like all you got to do, and maybe they can go back. I wouldn't even be mad, to be honest, if they went back and did this in the sequel trilogies now. All you got to do is sprinkle in some Palpatine in them first two movies, and a lot of that shit would make a whole lot more sense.
Facts.
Like they did it already. Like when you go back and look at that lightsaber battle between Kylo and Rey on Starkiller Base at the end of Force Awakens. The way she is circling my dude and the snarl on her face, you could tell that she was already leaning into some dark side. All they had to do was maybe put like a little bit of Palpatine's motif in there, a little bit or something. You know what I'm saying? Give
Fact.
somebody some kind of a line that hints at the idea that she could be a Palpatine. Something. Give us a conversation between Luke and Leia talking about it. Something. And then it'd be like, oh, snap. But because you got nothing, because you didn't give anybody any clue that this was the case, when you make that revelation in the last movie, it basically comes off as if it was a cop-out.
a
as
little too
opposed
late.
to it being planned the whole time.
Right. That makes like to me that's perfect. Like, and that would have made sense. Like I said, to even bring in more people to hear that that's the Emperor's granddaughter. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we could have waited to find that out at the end of the Last Jedi. Like, we could have waited to find that out then. I think, and like it would have upped the ante for for the finale so much more. You know what I mean? Like, it would have. When I say
Or
finale,
here's the
for
thing, like,
Rise of Skywalker.
right. Well, even in Last Jedi, when Kylo's like, you want to know the truth, or have you always known? Like, instead of him just saying her parents or having her say her parents was nobody, then she could be like, or even have her say that her parents were nobody and have him correct her and go, no,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right, your parents were nobody, but your grandfather your grandfather was, or something, like anything.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it cliffhanger like that. You ain't even got to explain it in the movie. Just give
She
us
could go
that
and talk to
scene.
Luke about that. Like, it's some shit that she can go and talk to Luke
Bingo.
about, and like that's even, yeah,
That's no different. And that mirrors Yoda when Luke went to talk to Yoda and was like, why y'all ain't telling me?
yeah,
It was the same thing, bro. Like, it's so simple.
right
The way
there.
that they could have just made some small changes, and Last Jedi would have hit completely different. The other thing I would have done, since we own it, is in the movie right at the point where Rey's got to make a decision whether or not she want to join him.
Mm.
Just stop that movie right there. Don't let the rest of that movie play out in episode 9. The whole, the aftermath of them kind of doing the little force tug of war with the lightsaber, all of that, them going to Crate and having that showdown with Luke, all of that could have happened in the first 30, 45 minutes of episode 9. And it would have hit a whole lot different because you'd have had a cliffhanger for 8. So it's like, okay, how do we end this? Where is this going? Like, are they going to join up? Like, are they really finna let Kylo Ren and Rey like straight up join each other, or where? And then you have people waiting on that for a year, bruh. Imagine that. We had to wait for a year to find out the results on that. You gonna go into that last movie, hype this mud, bro. You like, hey, let's go. I want to know where this is going.
Fact.
And then you find out in the first 30 minutes, like, or first 15 minutes even, oh no, she's not gonna turn. Okay, so then what are they gonna do? Well, now he's got to go chase her off the Crate. Luke allows them to escape. And then you give us just like a little time jump real quick to show her now she's training and everything else. And it's a lot more acceptable at that point. But they didn't think, because this wasn't a plan, they didn't think about those small little things they could have done, because all they were worried about was just trying to stick the landing pretty much. And it was just, it was unfortunate, man. But it's like, where we are now, I don't think that it's necessarily out of the realm of possibility for them to kind of bring it back full circle. I just don't know if they're really slow burning it with Bad Batch and kind of the way that they're making those connections right now, where I feel like they should just lean into it and say, you know what, we're going to make it all kind of make sense right off the rip.
Yeah, they should. They should, like, it's especially with like what they do with Mando. Just rip off the Band-Aid, give it to us, get us hype on it, and my thing is Bad Batch. It was made, and I don't mean to come back to Bad Batch, but like the thing about Bad Batch to me, it was made for TV. Like, it was made to be on Disney on Saturday mornings. It was not made
100
for Disney Plus. With what you're saying about the sequel, what you're saying about the secret trilogies is like the same thing. Like, they just could have taken us there. But that's honestly what I feel good about right now, is that before the Bad Batch, I was saying, you know what, I feel like at this point, anything that Star Wars fans could want or think of, y'all gonna get. You know what I mean? Because it was like, y'all got Luke. Like, Luke. We got Luke. Like, that was it. You got Luke in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
That's the equivalent of seeing more than the equivalent of seeing Doctor Strange in WandaVision. More of an equivalent to seeing Old Man Cap in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like,
yeah,
Star Wars fans getting what they want, and that was at a time when I felt like, damn, we weren't getting everything from Marvel. You know what I mean? Like, that's the time I was feeling
yeah.
we weren't. Damn, we're not gonna get to see Kane. You know what I mean? Like, that was like, I was at that time. So I mean, it seemed a bit of like that little bit of reservationness, if you will. Like, they were just a bit reserved.
Right.
At the end of the day, hopefully, like, I still got faith that they'll be able to pull this around, because what we've gotten, I mean, season 7 of Clone Wars, I still liked a bit.
Yeah.
And the 2 seasons of Mandalorian were fire. So, like, to me, if you're batting 3 for 4, if if you got 3 hits and you strike out once, or if you got 3 hits
Right.
and you ground out once, that's fine with me. Like everything don't gotta be a banger. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, in
Yeah.
an animated show, it can like you can make that joke go off. You know what I mean? Like you can
Yeah.
take it there. But yeah. Look, let me get a couple show notes in here, and then how much longer I got you? I
Yes,
got you
sir.
about 15, 20. How much
Hey,
longer
man.
I got
Yeah,
you?
let's do it.
All right,
Let's
cool, cool.
do it, man.
So then we get into the comments after I get
For
these show
sure.
notes out here. But real quick, make sure you guys, if you're new here, make sure you drop a like and sub. We are on the grind to 250 subs by the end of What If. And speaking of What If, tomorrow night, starting at 12:30, we got our drop party out. You heard of watch parties, but
Yay.
hey, I'm pushing through, bro, because like I'm normally with you and Felicity. Grown folks got jobs. I'm gonna be asleep, but I'm pushing through for the dojo. So
Hey,
your
I
boy,
feel you. I salute, bro. I
hey,
salute that.
so
What's up, man?
so we gonna be up. They help me stay up out here from 12:30 until 2:45. We're gonna be in here streaming for a drop party, getting hyped for that.
Nice.
Um, talking about Marvel stuff that's coming up, getting into the news and that. And then on Wednesday, I ain't sure. We might have another half of the Main Gang Authority out here. I'm not sure quite yet, but working with Lavis to get him in here on Wednesday to talk about the What If series.
Well, I'm gonna
Going
just
through the
let you
theories
know.
that's popping off.
His ass gonna be here.
All right,
His
all right.
ass gonna be
Because
here.
he said to check you too,
I
but
say he gonna be. He
all
ain't checking.
right,
Yeah, you gonna be in here, Lavis.
all
You
right,
gonna be in here.
all right. Bet. But yeah,
There we go.
we got that going down Wednesday, and then on Thursday, come back late. Usually go after the main game. That was my Thursday streams. After the main game go, that's when I come on be little
Mm-hmm.
after which I was doing. But just hit the
Yeah.
notification bell for Thursday. That's all you gotta do is
There
hit
you
that
go. There
notification
you
bell
go.
when you know we're streaming, and then you can be hit there. No stream on Saturday. Your boy got a baby shower this Saturday, so no stream this Saturday. But other than that, just circle back around. Like I said, like, share the channel. We are on the
Yeah.
grind to 250. Because man, we don't just hang out here in the dojo here, Al. You hip to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And for folks who ain't hip,
Oh yeah.
we might pop up in the training grounds out here. We might put up some what you call them, James? Put up some screen projections and everything on the projector
Mm-hmm.
out here. But then also we about to hop into the hottest ground on YouTube right now, and that's the final round. We in the final round.
Yeah.
We get into the comments. Let us know. So put in your questions. Let me know what's popping. We can go any. Look, my man is a savant in this nerdy world. So he don't got to talk stories. We can go over to the
Hey,
MCU.
man.
We can go over to the DC realm. Look, just drop in your questions. And I did see one thing that was being talked about, Al, and that was
What's that? What's that?
the Shang-Chi movie. Where
Mm-hmm.
where are you at on it right now, bro?
Man,
Well, let me ask you
like,
two things.
I
Hold on.
am.
Where are you at, and then
Yeah.
where do you think it will end up as an actual
Bet.
out there in the public?
So right now, my interest in Shang-Chi is probably at about a good 8.5.
Okay.
I love, movies with that Eastern theme, that martial arts theme. I can't wait to see how they do this with the MCU flavor to it. I think it's gonna be dope. I am kind of curious though, just to see how it hits, because this is gonna be like the first official MCU movie that we've gotten post Pandy. I know we got Black Widow. But to me, that one don't count because that was supposed to have been there. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
This is the first one where it's like, all right, let's see what they doing. And so I'm gonna be real curious. I'm about an 8.5, and I think by the time the movie drops, I think I'll probably have it somewhere within that range, give or take a half a point. I'll probably be sitting at an 8, somewhere between an 8 and a 9 with it, just because I think we all jonesing for some real live action, big screen MCU type stuff, and I think this movie's gonna give it to us. I think that the action in Shang-Chi is gonna be amazing, and I'm just curious to see what they do with the story in terms of, do they really just focus on his story and kind of doing a standalone thing, or do they connect this to the greater story that's going on with the multiverse and whatnot, and kind of what is the play there? You know what I mean? So I'm with it, man. Like I'm really excited because I feel like this is kind of the first new, and the fact that it's kind of going into a genre that we really haven't seen with the MCU yet. So I'm excited on all fronts with it, man.
Hey, look, my man's the dirty squirty talking about my body ready for Shang Chi. He over there sound like R.
Yeah.
Kelly. He ready. He ready
Right.
for this.
Right.
I mean, but look, I'm hyped for Shang Chi too, man. Like, cause it's like I was listening in to a piece of an interview, uh, when they were grilling Feige in China about it. And he was
Hmm.
like, I don't know if it was boilerplate answers or what, but he was like, even the story with the Mandarin, which Shen Wei is supposed to be his name now. Even the story with him
Yeah.
is like we're diving into that story. This in your classic like hate father, like this type of story. It's a very complex relationship, and it's more of a
Okay.
love and making a tough decision thing. So look, bro, like I'm with you, bro. Like I am hype on kung fu movies as it is. I mean, we in a dojo.
Yes.
Like it's like
Yeah.
I'm here for kung fu movies, but it's like, bruh, we getting this with the MCU. So like we're not just getting this like fist to fist action.
Right.
We getting this monster action, like seeing Abomination in there. Which, by the way, I definitely think we're not gonna see Shang Chi fight Abomination. I think what you call it gonna take care of Abomination, Wong.
Yeah.
Um,
Agreed. Agreed.
but like seeing that stuff pop up in there, and just how crazy this type of blood sport fight is gonna get, and then we're gonna be getting some lore, I believe, too, out of this. Like we're gonna find out something about the past in the MCU. Like all that stuff got me.
Yeah.
I'm at a 9 right now, bro. Long story
That's
short,
what's
like I'm
up,
at
man.
I'm at a 9. Now I am concerned for how well it's gonna do, because like
Yeah.
I mean I probably won't bring my wife to the movies. I mean that's another thing too. Like shoot, we got a baby coming in September. I'm lucky to go
Okay.
be. I'm lucky to be going out there. It's like due September 22nd, so it's like I'm gonna be
Oh
lucky
yeah.
to go out there and like not
Just
really
to
be
get out and
concerned
get
about
yeah.
yeah. But like getting her out there, it's like
Right.
she ain't vaccinated. Like she ain't trying to deal with the pandy. So it's like you got
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
going on, and at the same time, it's a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of people who out here who's not out here trying to deal with the pandy.
Fact.
So like I'm concerned for legitimately about how well this is going to do in theaters.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm hoping it flops. Look, I love watching things in the comfort of my own home. So you telling me that
Yeah.
I can watch some at the crib? But we're gonna have two of these little chaps running around, so I don't got to worry about getting a babysitter. I just got to put them to sleep. You tell me I can watch these
Mm-hmm.
movies from the comfort of my own home, come through here, talk about it in the dojo. I like the option of going to the movie theaters after that, but it's like I don't know. I want it to kind of flop, if that makes sense, because I
Mm-hmm.
want these shits to come back. Like to me, man, I've had this discussion before. I think if you drop Shang Chi and then you drop the Eternals at home, by the time you get to Spider Man No Way Home, if Sony would warm up to that, that's one where you blow the lid off and you got like you talking about maybe I'm thinking maybe 250 mil just on Disney Plus alone. So it's like
Yeah. I
I
got
think
you.
let's just let this shit flop so we can just watch this shit from home. Like that's
Right.
that's where my head is at, bro. And but
Well.
when it comes to this actual movie though, man, like I hate to get into the politics of the theaters, but at the same time, yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
this is looming over this movie.
No, I agree with you 100%, man. I'm gonna tell you though, bro. I hate to disagree with you, man, but I think it's Spider Man. Ain't no way you gonna see that shit at home.
Yep,
Like
I feel
that's
that.
what I think going on with. Because I think, man, look, the reason I think that's why we haven't seen the trailer yet is because they're waiting to see how this pandy shakes out with this whole situation before they make a decision. Because I don't think for what they've put into for what the rumors are for what we supposed to see in No Way Home, bro. There's no way you can drop that on at home. Like I get it. I know we in a different, it's a different situation now. The world is different. We got to start looking at things from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Sony and Marvel, or Disney, I should say, are holding out because they don't want that movie to drop.
Yeah.
Uh, they don't want that movie to drop at home. They want people in the box offices. They want that. They're probably looking at Spider Man as something that could be grossing over, upwards of 5, 6, 700 mil. You know what I'm saying? Like they really looked at and are probably looking at that movie as the comeback joint. You know what I'm saying? Like I really think so because of how much is riding on that movie. And so I think I'm not gonna say it's impossible that we won't see, but it's just like, man, I don't know, man. It's gonna be real touchy how things go, particularly with the pandy, because I think we're at a point now where and I'm gonna be really delicate in saying this, but I feel like we're at a point now where it's starting to get kind of hard to determine if decisions are being made out of necessity or because people got agendas. And that's what's really gonna make it kind of start looking real sus is like if we get into like October and we still ain't got a trailer, bruh, like people gonna start having something to say even more than they do already.
That's facts.
And I just think that might be something that we have to prepare ourselves for straight up because I just don't see them because the thing about you got to think about it too. This is a Sony movie. So where is that going if that's going to hit theaters and home, who's streaming that?
Yeah.
Is that Netflix? Is that going to be
I know they got
is that a
deal with
part of that
Netflix
Netflix
too.
deal?
Yeah, I know they got to deal
So
with
yeah,
Netflix too.
right. And so my
Yeah.
thing is, is that what we doing now? Is Netflix gonna drop that $30 premium and say, hey, you can check this out here if you give us that $30? Like, are we gonna be down with that? Or is it gonna be a situation where, Sony's like, nah, man, like we gotta get at least a good 3 weeks in the theaters only before we put this out on streaming.
And I feel that.
You know what I mean? Like,
I feel that because it's like that's where they effed up with Black Widow. If they ain't do all that prep for Black Widow and roll out all those trailers then, and then gave us some new trailers just recently when it came out, Black Widow probably would have been a lot better. But it was like by the time the marketing material came back around, bruh, it was like for real, people weren't even making YouTube
right?
videos on this shit. It was
Yeah,
like
I'm saying, man.
like, the trailers would drop and be like, but they're kind of doing this shit with Shang-Chi a little bit too, bro. Like the marketing on Shang-Chi, bro, it's like something new. I would think this movie about to come out next week. Like that's how much they're doing with Shang-Chi.
Right.
Like,
see, and that's the thing is I think Shang-Chi might end up being the sacrificial lamb, bro, because I think they may go the dual release with that movie to kind of stave off. I think they could, man, because I mean, look at it. Like, if numbers don't change, bro, like, what kind of numbers is that movie gonna really do in the theater? Like, if you drop in that movie,
that's why.
What is that? How's it gonna do?
That's why my mind is on the part to where they kind of wanted to flop. Like that's where my mind is at. Is that they
Yeah, I don't think so because if it flops though, because if it flops, then they're basically gonna drive them to have to drop movies on that dual situation. And I think that Disney at large is not trying to hear that shit. I don't think Disney wants or likes this dual shit because I think that when you have I mean, just look at it. I look at it like this. Disney before this pandy was basically cranking out $1 billion movies like it wasn't nothing. Like almost any movie that they dropped was creeping up on $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? Didn't like even Captain Marvel made like what 800-900 million, something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they were cranking these joints out. The only thing that's stopping them from still being able to do that now is the pandy. So I really feel like there's a situation, and I think this was the case, and what led to what we saw with Black Widow. Like they're basically playing chicken with the pandy. They like, we just gonna wait this shit out. Like you ain't gonna keep everybody inside forever. I think that's their perspective on it, man, and that's why we it's going the way it is. And I get No Way Home is a Sony movie. I get all that, but you got to think that like they're looking at it from the same perspective as Disney is because they're missing a lot of money on the table. Like you look at these numbers and they'll come out that first weekend and it'll look dope, but then it'll take that second week, the numbers fall off a cliff. Because at that point, like, where's the buzz? Everybody done kind of seen it. You know what I mean? Let's just keep it a buck. Especially with these digital releases, man. Don't act like these bootleggers ain't out here, bruh. Like, people as soon as you drop a 1080p or 4K version of that video on the web, I don't care how you get it. Somebody gonna figure out how to get that mug for free.
Yeah, you can try to
that
shit all you want.
All day, it don't matter what you do. Somebody gonna find a way to bootleg that joint. And so you're eating into your bottom line or your profit that way. And these studios know that. They know damn well what's going on out here.
Here's the thing though. They made more off of that. They made equal amounts on Disney Plus for Black Widow. It made equal amounts on Disney Plus as it did in theaters and what they did on Disney
Mm-hmm.
Plus and opening weekend. But Disney
Right.
got more of that money from Disney Plus than what they did from theaters. So it's like to me,
Facts.
you're looking at something to where, wow, you got this new thing out here. So like for real,
Mm-hmm.
paying this much for a movie at the crib, brand new. Like we're not hip to
Right.
that. Like it's only been out for like 6 months. There ain't been a movie that you
Mm-hmm.
really wanted to do that for. So to me,
Right.
to have something that's brand new, that's looked at, I think on the surface that people will look at and be like, that's a, why would I want to do that? Like if you asked me that like in 2018 or in 2019, I was like, I'd be like, why would I want to do that when I could just go to movies to watch? You know what I mean? So like when you have that type of
Right.
option that's new, but at the same time equals another option that's been ingrained in people's lives since they was kids. You know what I mean? And then at the same
Yeah.
time, we don't have to split that with nobody else. Like
Mm-hmm.
to me, that's why this stuff is kind of like a first run. So like to me, this is why like Shang-Chi is the last ditch because like they're gonna say, well, you know what? Let's just see how much we'll make all together in the theaters. Let's see that, so then we can compare these apples to apples and
Mm-hmm.
see where we're at. Because if Shang-Chi makes 55 million in theaters, you know what I mean? If it does not like reach
Right.
that like pinnacle where they're thinking it's gonna reach, then like
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing Eternals maybe doing D&D or something along that line. I'm even not opposed. Like, look, if depend, I don't want to speculate, but if we back inside the crib later on, I
Yeah.
think there's more money to be made at Christmas time by dropping Spider-Man No Way Home. Like people fresh off Christmas bread. Like I mean, people fresh off the
Yeah.
Christmas
That's
bread,
true.
people around the family, like, and that's that turning point. Again, just making it a norm. Like to me, it's like you kind of try to make it a norm in people's head to be like, this is a way is a
Right.
normal way for us to feel like we go to the movie theater to see a movie. I feel like that's just like part of that battle is that they got 30 mil, like they kind of equal what they got in movies in on Disney Plus with Black Widow, and it's
Right.
like this ain't even a normal way you do shit yet. So I mean, it's
Right.
to me, it's like that kind of, and I don't know. I don't think there's ever a way they'll be able to kind of handle those piracy people as well. I mean, I know sometimes when I try to do
Yeah.
stuff on my phone, like with 18, I had the Direct TV app one time, and I was trying to record stuff on my phone, but it was like it blacked out my phone to where I could
Yeah.
record it. Like I don't know if there's stuff that they're trying to figure out to do with that. Like that's beyond the point there. But I don't know. To me, it's just the Sun Cheats. Like if Sun Chi don't bring that bread home, man. Like if it doesn't at least make more than what Black Widow did, I don't know, bro. I don't know,
Well,
but
let me let me
it
let
could be
me
a long
present
way.
you. Let me present you with a counter with a counter scenario real quick, and you tell me what you think about this. So let's say movies do continue to like underperform in the box office,
Mm-hmm.
and let's say, it gets to a point where people just start to realize, you know what, like you said, when if you give people the choice of watching this in the comfort of their own homes and not having to deal with the pandy situation or going to a movie theater,
Mm-hmm.
which would they choose? Let's just say that momentum starts to turn. I think Disney is one of these companies that's playing 4D chess with this shit. And what I mean by that is, to your point about them wanting Shang-Chi to tank, I don't think they wanted to tank, but I think what they are doing, and I think this is something they did with Black Widow to kind of wait it out and see how it played out. Disney's always about that money, bro. Like
Facts.
the mouse want that cheddar, bro, like all
Facts.
day, every day. So if I'm Disney and I know that movie theaters are a fledgling industry and people are kind of skeptical to go back, and I'm seeing these numbers and everything else, I'll contribute to that by delaying my movies, enticing people to continue to tank the stock market for movie theaters. Then I buy out, like, let's just say AMC theaters, right?
Uh-huh.
And I turn the movie theater into a more personal experience
Okay.
where you're not just going to go see a movie, you're going to experience like a whole little event based on that movie. So like think of, like, let's just say Doctor Strange 2, right? So you go to the movie theater to go peep Doctor Strange 2, but it ain't just the 2.5 hour movie. You go, they got like Doctor Strange themed dinner set up. You got like a little photo op joint. There's merch you can buy, little stuff like little interactive like experiences. Then
Yeah,
you go
gotcha.
into like a box seating theater where it's like motion seats and all of that, and you experience the movie in a way you really haven't experienced it before, and you charge people like a $50 premium for that joint, but you going for this experience, and it's more of a like appointment based where it's not as the crowds aren't as big, but off the merch and the movies, you making as much as you were by filling up an old school theater. I really do think that's what the play is here with some of these studios, bro. I think what they're trying to do is they are trying to create two different a whole new lane for like the public like movie going experience, because I think that the movie theater experience as we know it is dying. Like, let's just be clear. I think that we're getting to a point where that going to see a movie with 200 150 200 people in there with you, I don't think we're going to see that anymore, like not on a regular basis. I just don't. But I think what some of these studios are trying to do is kind of hedge their bets a little bit to say, well, look, we got the bread to go in and kind of build this thing and make it and shape it the way we want to. I mean, look what Disney does at their parks already, bro. Like, imagine if you could do something like that on a smaller level and have these theaters all across the United States or the world even. And they cutting out the middleman because they own the theater. Like, you trying to tell me for $50 you wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't break that off. Yeah. Go, you know what I'm saying? Like, we gonna do that all day, bro. I'd be doing that for every Marvel and Star Wars movie that drop. I don't know about DC, but Marvel and Star Wars, bro, I'm in that thing. So it's like, that's what I see. What's up?
I'm trying to think what levels of movie would it take. Like, I don't think I would drop that for Black Widow. I don't think I would.
No, not for Black Widow. No.
Like, you know what I mean? So, like, I'm trying to think about, like, what type of... So, like, now you're saying that. Like, I was trying to think about, what type of movies would I go, like, Far From Home, I mean, like, No Way Home.
You're right. So, you see, No Way Home, you do that. Let me throw out a few. Would you do that for Shang-Chi?
Yeah.
Exactly. So, you do it for... Would you do it for the Eternals?
Probably not. I don't know. I had to...
Probably not. Okay. Yeah, because you'd have to have a little bit more hype behind it. But you definitely do it for Doctor Strange. You do it for No Way Home. You would do it for... Would you do it for Ant-Man, Quantumania?
Since it got Kang in it, hell yeah.
Bingo. Yeah, exactly. You like, I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying?
So,
like, that's... Now, let me hit you with this one. For Thor, exactly. Let me hit you with this one. Live action Mando movie.
Oh, yeah. For that, for sure.
See?
But then you're going to...
You see what I'm saying?
Like, but then if it's like something else that's not Mandoverse related, probably not. But
well, yeah. But for Star Wars sweaties, bro, like
yeah.
For me, look, I would do that if you re-release the prequels, bro. Like, if they just drop the prequels in a situation like that, sign me the F up, bro. I'm gonna go do that twice. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm talking about, man. Like, or like even with the Star Wars joint. Imagine if once they streamline this new saber that they dropping or whatever, or even if it's just the custom sabers they're doing like at Galaxy's Edge right now. Imagine being able to go to a movie theater, go see a Star Wars movie, and then either before or after that joint, you make an appointment and you build a lightsaber.
Hey, bro, you need to write
like while you're at the theater, bro.
Look, you need to write this shit down, stamp it, send it to yourself, whatever.
You know what I'm saying? I'm giving away gold for y'all right now, Mickey. Like, holla at your boy.
Look, bro.
Man, I'm telling you, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I think is going down, man, because these corporations, bro, they see what's going on, man, and they know, where things are going. And it's like, when you look at the numbers, yeah, you can still make a good chunk of change with the home movie thing, but you undercutting yourself ultimately, because you talking like $30. That's like, that could be a house of 5 people.
Facts.
Like, what we gonna start doing we gonna start doing movies the way we used to do boxing matches? Be like, who got 5 on the fight? Who got 5 on No Way Home? Shit, you'll have a house packed full of dudes trying to watch that movie and not pay that $30. Hey, look, so that's what I'm saying. They've got to find a way to like do that and still make that money, man. Like, they gonna find a way to get that bread, bro. And that's the thing that I think they're angling towards is, if anything, I don't think that they would tank their movie on purpose, to your point. I think what they would do is try to prolong and tank the market so that they can swoop in and buy a handful of theaters across the country and be like, oh, we got this.
Well,
like, that's the thing to me, bro.
But then even more so, I mean, to me, that could play into that. Like, you gotta make investors believe. And first off, Felicity said, if I'm paying premium, y'all can't be acting the stereotype in the theaters. Look here, Felicity.
Hey,
If I'm
look, let
paying
me
$50,
tell you
I'm
straight
gonna
up.
act how I want to act. God,
I
look,
want you damn right.
look.
That part, bro. Like I'm coming in there. I'm coming in
On
there.
turn
Ethnic is all hell.
facts. I'm laughing as loud as I want to. I'm clapping as loud as I want to. I'm eating my damn steak as loud as I want to in that bit. No.
Smacking the whole time, talking through the movie. Especially if I'm dropping 50 on just me,
Shit. Hey, that's a
man,
date. That's a hundred.
that's 100, that's a
That's
meal.
a
That's what I'm
hundred.
saying, bro. Like if I'm taking that's a steak
That's
restaurant
a
meal right there,
hundred.
bro. Like I'm like, if I'm dropping 100, bro, I'm coming in there. You ain't finna tell me
You
nothing.
can't. Hey,
I'm
I'm on
finna
my
be in there
yay.
acting a plum fool, bro.
I'm on my Yeezy. You can't. You can't tell me nothing, man. But look, what?
No, and I'm gonna get educated while I'm up in there. So look, I'm like,
Hey,
y'all just gonna have to accept me. You know what I'm
except me
saying?
for me. Hey, but look, that's. But nah, I mean, but to me, but for real, I think that could even be more of a. I think my play to block this movie go even more into your
Mm-hmm.
play. Like show the people how show the people how effed up that industry is and how it's not coming back. That we tried two Marvel movies and we couldn't make it pop. So now, sorry theaters, we're gonna just be dropping straight digital for a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Take away No Way Home from them. That cripple them. Like that make
Yeah.
them so much money that cripple the movies. Like that'd be like a Mike Tyson punch to the ribs for real.
Yeah.
Like take them out, fold them, body blow, and then you step in and clear out. I like that idea of stepping in and clearing out, man, because improving that performance, bro. Like I said, I'm at the point now where I'm trying to take my what's going on, Stormy? What's up, bro? I'm at the point now where
Stuff,
I'm trying to
Storm.
take my daughter to a movie theater. Cause it's
Yeah.
like I just don't know. I just
No,
don't.
I feel
And
you.
what's
I feel
sad,
you.
but I couldn't even convince her to go see a movie, bro. She's 3, and I was like, I couldn't convince her to
Man.
pick a movie because the only kid movie that was out was Space Jam, and I was like, we could go see this. She was like, that's for boys. I was like, nah, look, it's got Lola Bunny in there. It's good. She's like, nah, I don't want to go see that. And I was like, we can go see it. She's like, no, like she started getting upset. So it's like, damn, the kids don't
Oh
want to go to
man.
the movies. She's like, I want to go to the TV room. I was like, okay.
See, and that's the thing though,
Yeah.
man. And that's the interesting part right there though. You know, I'm talking about this whole thing with the theaters, but the one thing that I do have to keep in mind to your point though, is there's a whole generation up under me that might not even know shit about the movies.
Facts.
Like they may grow up not even like the movie theater might not even be a thing to them. Like in terms of it'll exist, but that might not be a play. Like it kind of be like to some degree what like arcade is to my kids. They know what it is,
Facts.
but they ain't never set foot inside a damn arcade.
You go there for
You
a
know what
little
I'm
bit of a
saying?
good
So,
time. You might take them
yeah,
there
for a
once
little
in a
bit.
while, but
Facts.
you don't want to go
That,
there all the
but it's
time.
right, or they ain't trying to be in there like me. Like I go to the arcade, I'm
Facts.
gonna be in that mug for like 4 hours. They go in there, they play one game, and they like, all right, I'm done. Let's
Facts.
go
They
do
got
something else.
laser tag. Like, nah, like
Right. They like, man, well, hold on. We going to main event. I ain't trying to be in no. You want to go somewhere where all they got is just the arcade games? What is that? It's like that's called heaven. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that's the thing, man. It is different with the younger generation, and it'll be interesting to see how things go with them. But I just look at it from that money standpoint, man, and it's like when you somebody that's used to making $1 billion movies, like you grossing $1 billion, and you got investors that's expecting that billion, bro, like you gonna be trying to find every kind of way you can to make that money back up. And I don't think these $30 pop movies is gonna do it for them. So they're gonna have to figure something out, man. Like, and I just feel like that might be the way, man, is if Disney or somebody swoop in and say, we're gonna give you a personalized cinematic experience, and this is the way we're gonna do it, man. I don't know, bro.
I don't
People
know
might
much
be
about
people
chess.
might be here for it.
I don't know much about chess, but I tell you, Shang-Chi seems like the perfect little pawn to put out there just to get ate up.
Facts. I will say that. That would be the movie to do that with though, to test the waters out and see how it worked
And look,
in terms of like playing around with it and just kind of like letting the numbers be what they are.
mm-hmm. And look,
You
this
might be on the sun with that, bro.
my thing is that movie to me is so fire. It's not gonna matter. Once how fire that movie is gonna be gets out to me. The box out, it's gonna be like blame it on the panty. You know what I mean? Like that movie is just so fire. It's
Yeah,
got to be the pen. You know what I mean? It's got to be this. Eternals.
gotcha.
I'm hyped for Eternals. Like as I said, like I was hyped for Eternals when the stuff was coming out. It's just been a
Hmm.
while since we got Eternal stuff to keep it real, keep it a buck. So it's like my hype for Eternals and all this multiversal shit. My hype for Eternals ain't where it is. But I
Yeah,
don't think a lot of people were hyped for Eternals. So Eternals might not have been that movie to put out there to be like, this is it. Because I mean,
yeah.
that
Now, Eternals is one of those, like, to me, Eternals is like the first Guardians movie,
yeah,
where it's like you're
exactly
like, okay, this is Marvel. I don't really know these cats, but I'm down to go check it out. And then you might go see it and be like completely won over, but like unless you a the sweatiest, you wasn't checking for no Guardians before that movie dropped.
facts.
And so it might. I think Eternals isn't going to be something like that where we'll appreciate it when we see it, but
Hmm.
that hype's just not going to be there until you actually see that movie.
Now look, they even go as far as to let Eternals go to theaters, and if Shang-Chi flops and then Eternals flops, bro, and like Eternals got
Oh
that
man,
star,
it's trouble.
Eternals got that star power, like
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie's Marvel movie,
Mm-hmm.
all like that shit put together. The Angelina Jolie and Marvel movie couldn't make over 100 million. Like it's a wrap.
Facts.
It's a wrap. So I don't know. I'm gonna let that go. I'm gonna let that go. But that's like it's at the end of the day though. It's like one of the biggest things that I think is looming over our nerd
Mm.
culture right now. It's just like how we experience this shit. Like how we
Yeah.
already got a shift when we got our shows on Disney Plus when it came to Marvel, and
Oh
we
yeah,
got
man.
Mando. Like that shift came big, but now it's just like what the hell is actually going to be going over. Like how we
Mm-hmm.
going to be able to go see it. So it's like to me that's got to be a conversation huge like on our minds because
Yeah.
not just how we see it, but our actors too. Like how much these actors going to get paid? Is this going to be the only
That
place
part.
they can come and get paid?
That part.
Like Robert, like I've always said it, bro. I think I said it one time on a little community stream back in the day when you was in there. Like
Okay.
Robert Downey Jr. for one, my man's think he like to me. I love what he did for Iron Man. All respect. If you want to step away, that's cool, bro. But it's like I think he got somebody in his room telling him his stock too high. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the
Mm.
day, like these characters, Chris Evans is an outlier because I think Chris Evans like showed with the Knives Out that he could kind of maybe go in his lane and create his stuff and be
Mm-hmm.
straight in his lane. When you come to somebody like Robert
Yeah.
Downey Jr., it's like, bruh, I don't even, I didn't watch Sherlock Holmes. I hadn't watched another Robert
Facts.
Downey Jr. movie other than the Iron Man movie, so I'm not. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
not the
Didn't he do
major
like that
minority
Doctor
there.
Doolittle remake
Yeah,
joint
he
too?
did
It
that
was like,
like
nah,
that
I
Doctor
wasn't doing that.
Doolittle remake. So it's like, bruh, especially when this pandy shit start happening, like,
Mm-hmm.
like especially if this shit start like changing, bro. We'll get you back soon,
Yeah.
and we might get you back for more than one. You know what I mean? Like that type of stuff is like how this could be impacting things overall. Like, damn, like,
Well, see, and I think to that point though, with the RDJ and him coming back, man, like that stuff's always in play, right?
yeah,
As long as I always feel like as long as the actor or actress is breathing, it's a chance they could come back. I don't give a damn
facts,
what they say, what the studios say. It's always because money talks at the end of the day. And
facts.
if you put a check in front of that man with enough zeros on it, he'll be like, so are we doing this in the traditional Iron Man suit or what are we doing? He ain't finna turn that money down. But where I think, White Suge and Marvel really like got super smart is with What If, bro. Because what If is gonna do is gives them the opportunity to recast and totally circumvent that money situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, oh, cool, Robert don't want to do it. We can go get somebody else to be
Love
Iron
to
Man
have it
now.
here, but Tom
You,
Cruise makes sense.
it's like, right, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
they can flip it and put anybody they want to in that costume, bro, and it won't make a damn bit of difference to the audience, I don't think, because now you've given a legitimate in-story reason
mm-hmm.
for why these people change up. So as long as the character don't get in there and be trash in the role, then people like are gonna be like, yeah, you got your RGJ, I'm sorry, your RDJ stands that are gonna, constantly be like, well, he was the best, he's the only. But I'm telling you, the normies and the swarmies, bro, they ain't worried about that. They're gonna be like, all right, so what's the story going?
Yeah, and as much
All
as
right,
been
we good.
cool, they probably have more of an emotional connection. It'd be cool to see RDJ. but you'd still the story wouldn't be slacking. And
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I'm at. Look, I wanted to get back more into these comments here, but look, I'm chatting with my man's Al from the main gang. I would want to do this for a
You
minute.
know?
So look, if shit come up to me, I'm sorry if I can't get into the comment. Like Fernie, you dropped a fire when Mike Porter, you always come in. Look, I'm sorry if I'm overlooking y'all, but look, I got a nerds out with my man's here. Just for
That's
a
what's
couple more
up,
minutes,
man.
man. Now look, my last thing, like you touched on here, and
Mm-hmm.
you touched on it a bit. When you talking about what they're bringing in these other characters, I'm very
Yeah.
much on the wagon of. Unfortunately, I mean, I don't mean to drop this bomb on you, but to talk about like the T'Challa Chadwick Boseman stuff. Um,
Oh yeah, let's do it.
I'm on the wagon of getting a new a T'Challa, and to me,
Okay.
it's like with this what if stuff. To me, it's a perfect segue to do that with
Yes.
eventually in a second, like maybe in season 2 or season 3 or even a spinoff of what if, give us
Facts.
an Illuminati. Like I wanted to have maybe an
Yes.
Illuminati to where we can get a T'Challa from another universe whose world got destroyed by an incursions or what have you. So he's
Mm-hmm.
not tied to a Wakanda. He's just our T'Challa, like he's a T'Challa out there. Nothing to do with our Wakanda, nothing to do with another one. He's just out there looking out. Then at the same time, you got Shuri over here, who honestly I don't think she's gonna spend much time on screen as a Black Panther. Like maybe the last
I
30
got you.
minutes, maybe the last 20 minutes of Black Panther 2. Then you get her
Okay.
like a couple of appearances. Then boom, Secret Wars is here. And then these things
Yeah.
get combined, and maybe you can have those two Black Panthers on the screen. So what I'm thinking is this is the
Okay.
perfect way to bring in one. You can use a multiverse to bring in an Illuminati T'Challa. Let him interact with Doctor Strange. Let him interact with
Yeah.
with Richards. If you bring back RDJ, or if you do whatever with Iron Man, I would like to see Iron Man in that situation myself. Um, so you have them interact, have us build up that chemistry with that T'Challa, bring him
Mm-hmm.
into and then bring him into the MCU when things reset, into where you have your legacy Black Panther with Shuri with Latia Wright,
I see you.
and then my man's who I'm going gunning for, my man's Damson Idris from Snowfall. I'ma always say I think this man should be the next
Okay.
T'Challa, because to me, if it's not him or Michael B. Jordan, Black Twitter ain't gonna take it. So it's like to me, to me, he can stand up to Black Twitter if you got Damson Idris in that role. So it's like I mean, those two in there, you're set. Like you got that storyline there to where you continuing to honor the legacy with Shuri. She can handle Wakanda stuff. She can be very Wakanda based, and then you got your man's Damson Idris over here, my man's Franklin as
Mm-hmm.
T'Challa, who is having this relationship with Storm, who is out here doing Illuminati stuff, dealing with
Yeah.
international matters, and like boom, that works. Like to me, that's like a perfect way to bring it
Yeah.
in and to still not have to slight Shuri and take something away from her, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Even though my thought is like, I think this works out good too because I don't think she's cast to be a lead role in a Marvel movie. So it's like let her have this role,
Mm-hmm.
but mask it with the whole fighting for the throne movie in Black Panther 2. Then mask it with just appearances as Black Panther. But
Yeah.
that's my nerdy thoughts on what I like to get to. And Felicity told me to stop listening to Black Twitter, but I don't listen to him. It's the other people that listen to him, and that the shit. Once Black Twitter start talking and shade, then it's like, man, people just opinions be so fickle like that sometimes on Black
Yeah.
Twitter.
Facts. That part.
But where
That
you at,
part,
Al?
bro.
Where you at with this T'Challa stuff?
Man, look, I'm gonna tell you. So at first I was kind of a hard no on the recast the T'Challa situation. Then I kind of came around and was like, well, if we're gonna do it, the only way I'll accept it is if it's Michael B. Jordan. And they find a way to
Mm-hmm.
recast him as T'Challa in some kind of way. And I was thinking about him doing it from the multiversal aspect, kind of what you was talking about right now. The more I think about it though, man, I wouldn't mind them recasting it with just about anybody as long as they nailed it.
Right.
Like that's where I'm at with it now. Is it's like whoever you choose to recast T'Challa with, just make sure they nail it. But you pretty much got to recast that
Right.
because to your point, man, you can't have this MCU with no Illuminati, and you can't have the Illuminati without Black Panther. Like especially if we go into the Secret Wars, like that is, and if they're gonna try to adapt any part of Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars run, then I gotta see T'Challa struggling with that whole situation the way he did in the comic book run. because that was some of the like deepest that and his beef with Namor. Like that shit, like I need to see that on screen, bro. And I mean, again, no disrespect to Shuri. I wouldn't, I'm not saying it can't be a female Black Panther in that situation, but it's gonna hit different. You know what I'm saying? It's
Facts.
gotta be of that same vein from what we saw in the comic. And just because that the gravity of that, because we're talking about a father son connection. We got a little bit of that in the first Black Panther movie where we got to see him in the ancestral plane, talking to his pops and whatnot, and getting that kind of gravity from it. I want to see that kind of turned up to the next level now with him, you know, being a part of that. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe they incorporate the whole King of the Dead into that some kind of way. It's got to be something that they do because they just that character is so iconic now, and not just because it's Black Panther, but because of what Chadwick stood for during his portrayal of that character and what he went through while portraying that character. Like there's a certain now level of awe to that you got to respect that, and you got to bring in you got to see that legacy keeps going. And so from that respect, I would love to see them recast. For me, the ultimate fanboy dream and situation for me would be that through What If we see the whole, Killmonger situation there, and that somehow that translates into a way where maybe in a different universe, Killmonger was the Black Panther. You know what I'm saying? And
Facts.
maybe, he was every bit, or maybe not every bit, but he still has some of the same, characteristics as the Eric Killmonger we saw in the Black Panther movie, but maybe not as extremist. And so maybe he learns of what our T'Challa sacrificed, and to your point, maybe his world is destroyed or something like that, or maybe he ends up in a situation where he's here and he's stuck and he decides to stick around because of whatever reason. I don't care, really, to be honest. I don't give a damn how they do it. If they was gonna make Michael be that dude, I'm like, all right, I don't care how you explain it, just make
Just
it happen.
fuck it.
But exactly. But if it's not gonna be him, man, then let it be somebody who can hold the role down, who can represent, and that we can see play that role for the next, 5, 6 years to come, so that once we get to Secret Wars, like we can really get into that and really just open up the sandbox in a way that we didn't really get to see them do with Endgame. And that's strictly because of licensing and characters that they couldn't include because they didn't have them at that
Mm-hmm.
point. Like if we're gonna blow the lid off of this joint with Secret Wars, you got to have Black Panther in there, and it's got to be T'Challa. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we could even see Shuri cameo a little bit. I'm down to see that,
Nah,
but
I
I
want
would
the
want.
T'Challa.
There's got to be yeah, you got to have a T'Challa, bro.
You
Got
gotta
to.
have the king. You gotta have the king. Hey, well, look with that,
Facts.
bro. Go ahead. Let's go ahead and get out of there. Is there anything else that you want to add in? Anything you had on your
Oh
mind that you
man,
wanted to
first
touch
of
on?
all, brother, just appreciate you having me on, man. It's been real, dude. I've been waiting to do this for a good long minute. Certainly hope it's not the last time, and we will certainly
Definitely
have
not.
you on. And other than that, man, just make sure if you haven't already checked us out on the Mayne Authority, me and your boy Lavis, we come at you Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Come get in there with us this week. We're gonna be talking some good shit. And get on that Discord with us. Holler at us on social, the Mayne Authority. But other than that, man, appreciate you, man. Straight up.
Hey, no doubt, man. Like I said, bro, I've been wanting to do this for a minute myself, man. Like, you don't know. Like I
Yeah.
told you, bro, I had this thing planned out from when Bad Batch season, like the first episode came out of Bad Batch. And I was like,
Got you.
I want to do something big for the finale. And then, just to be able to reach out to you and they had, it's a little bit of an encouragement boost, if you will. Like, let me go ahead and hit my man's up to see if he down to come in.
That's what's up, man.
And I'm glad you
I'm
was glad
glad
you
you did
tapped to
it.
come in, bro. Glad. So
Yeah, anytime, bro. Anytime.
So like I said, man, well look, I'm gonna let you go. Be and
Appreciate it.
have a good night with the fam and everything like that. and do your thing. I'm
Yes,
be over
sir.
there trying to rake up them coins on the main gang level, on the main gang.
Hey, that's what's up,
Yes,
man. Come
Lord.
get that. Come get that
Hey,
change,
look, bro.
bro.
I be in there too much, bro. I be hitting the work shit. It's like every hour and a
I
half.
be
I'm like,
seeing it,
work,
bro. 'Cause it be popping
right,
up on my
work.
phone. I'm like, hey,
Look,
my
I'm
man in there getting it in,
damn straight. I'm trying to get
but
that
punching
purple.
the
Trying to
clock.
get that purple tray. Like shit. Hey, I can't even front.
That's
Can't
what's
even
up,
front,
man.
man. Hey, but look, much love, dog.
Yes,
I'll holla at
sir.
you, man.
Appreciate
All right, y'all. Let me go ahead and put on like a little outro music. Oh, boom, F it. That's the outro music tonight. We gonna go with that. Look, I will tell you, man, it is so dope to be able to holler at my man's Al tonight and to have him in the dojo as well. Look, we've been grinding. Like I said, we've been working on bringing in our guests. We've been working on grinding, growing the channel here and bringing in more fire guests. And like I said, we're gonna be having my man Slavis in the channel on Wednesday, talking about that what if stuff. Make sure you guys come back tomorrow night as we're gonna be getting ready for the what if. I'm sorry, I'm getting effed up right now because my music isn't cutting on. But regardless, make sure you guys come back tomorrow at 12:30 for that what if watch party. I'm sorry, drop party. From 12:30 to 2:45 tomorrow, we're gonna be talking all the good stuff. Our what if theories. It's gonna be a huge episode tomorrow with Chadwick Boseman. That episode coming up tomorrow. It's gonna be a huge episode, and just be ready. Just be ready. I'm gonna have some tissues ready. I'm not one of them crybabies, but I'm gonna have some tissues ready for tomorrow. Best believe that. Best believe that. But look, make sure if you're new here, like I said, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. Share the channel out. We are on the grind to 250. Much love to all our new subs. Much love to all of y'all. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when we're streaming. All right. Like I always say, go watch something nerdy. Go watch something MCU. Go watch something Star Wars. Maybe a little bit of DC. And damn it, I ain't get to fit in with Al because I started watching Titans my damn self. Damn it, Al. Look, we're going to have to get back on that a little bit later. I'm going to have to talk about that with Lavis a little bit on Wednesday. We've been on Titans my damn self. And damn. But look, anyway, go watch some good nerdy shit. Share it with a friend. Turn them into a normie. Bring them here, and we'll turn them into a nerd. I am your normie sensei, Master Crunch here with Normies and Nerds. I'll see you guys tomorrow night for the drop. I gotta drop some bars, cause my man out came through today with the gang, with the main gang, the day, running shit, you here topping shit, you here talking shit, you'll never try to politics, but we getting streams up every time you ring up, and every time we pull up, it's like we put them damn rings up, this ain't the earth gang, it's the fucking main gang, coming through the fucking lane, about to make you swing, left to right. You know we here tonight. You know we turned up off that purple drink, that kryptonite light. Go ahead and roll it up. Go ahead and twist the Dutch. I don't really give a fuck. You can smoke it up, smoke it up. Get it glossy, get it glassy, motherfucker. We way past class. Over here going straight ratchet. All these people over straight ratchet. If they act up, I'ma have to grab it, pull it off the hill, make them host it. Now we pull up to the bacon chip. Now we break them off like some chocolate chips. Dunk it in some milk and need it like them Oreos. Balling through these niggas, then we balling through these hoes. We be talking about these things and making through the goals. Turn up, now you know we get into the gold. It's gold like I'm just making under the track. All these people looking at me, I'ma go chill and I'ma go chill and sit it back. I'ma come through and just relax. Every time we this beat on, you know, I have to chill, I have to go smack. At the main gang in the building, hey. Hope that you all really good for me. Had to drop some bars for the main gang, hey. Now you know, hey. Have a good day. Have a good night. The dojo's closed. Turn off the lights. Go and kick it right. Gotta kick it slight. Going night. So y'all just get out. Y'all don't gotta go home. We gotta get the hell up out of here. I thought the beat would be over by now, but damn, I guess I wasn't real. We prepared for it. Now I gotta talk through it. You know, we going through it. We just gonna get to it. Here come the beat in right now. Put your deuces in the air, cause we getting out of here. You know, we don't really care. Deuces to y'all. Make sure you sub to the channel and go sub to Mayne Authority. To you, I'm out. Hey, it's like freestyle. We out. I'm gone. Deuces.